Hey guys, today I just wanted to talk about the Economist's forecast for the 2020 presidential election. As you can see, the Economist currently gives Joe Biden a 90% chance of winning the Electoral College, and incumbent Donald Trump only a 10% chance of winning the presidency again. Now, in terms of winning the popular vote, Joe Biden has an almost 98% chance of winning, with Trump at 2% of winning the popular vote. Now, this is very accurate, as even Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by over 2.5 million votes compared to Donald Trump, and Joe Biden is almost certainly going to do that again in 2020. Now here, this is the predicted range for the electoral votes, so according to their simulations, the lowest and highest possible points. So for Joe Biden, his lowest electoral college loss would be with 243 electoral votes. And this is pretty good considering the fact that Hillary Clinton won at 232. So Biden's worst case scenario, in his worst case scenario, Biden is still projected to outperform Hillary Clinton did in 2016. And he could go all the way up to 412. If he were to win 412 electoral votes, then that would be, a landslide victory we haven't seen for the Democratic Party since LBJ in the 1960s. For Donald Trump, his lowest point is to 126, and his highest possible margin of victory would be 295. And with 295, he does win the election by 25 electoral votes, 25 more than the 270 he needs. However, he would underperform his 2016 margin when he won 306 in 2016. As you can see, the estimated electoral college votes, it's changed over time. This is right when Biden won Super Tuesday, March 1st or 2nd, and then they were pretty even then. This was when Trump had a higher chance of winning the election. He actually had a higher chance of winning the election all the way up until early June, I believe, when the protests and riots began. However, Biden's lead had been increasing ever since he became the presumptive nominee in late March. It's been increasing more and more, and right now Biden's average for his midpoint for his electoral vote win would be 343 to Trump's 195. With a 343 electoral college win, this would put his victory higher than Barack Obama's victory in 2012, however lower than his 366 electoral vote victory, I believe, that Barack Obama had in 2008. However, as you can see, we're still 4 months away from Election Day, so this is all set to change. However, at the moment, I think Biden's lead will only increase with the riots still going on. They might not be covered as much in the news, but they certainly are going on in almost every major city, as well as the coronavirus, which is actually getting worse and worse because of the reopening that Trump wants. Now, chance of winning, as you can see here, this is basically just, their chances over time, not electoral votes. This is just their chances. So you can see when Biden won Super Tuesday, they were pretty, it was pretty back and forth. However, after he became the presumptive nominee on March 15th, as you can see right there, that is when Joe Biden took the lead. March 15th was the date of the last Democratic debate against Bernie Sanders, and since Bernie Sanders wasn't able to have a great performance in that debate, Biden basically became the presumptive nominee, and Bernie dropped out soon after that. As you can see, Biden's chances have increased. In the beginning of June, this is when the protests began, and Trump's approval rating actually started to drop even more on top of coronavirus, and then Biden's chances have increased all the way up to 90% today. However, this is also set to change, as we are still 4 months away from Election Day. So we're gonna look at, these are just the simulations. These represent, the simulations they have done. As you can see, Biden's lines are all higher and all more to the right, higher on the scale than Trump's. As you can see, he is, less than 269. So now this map I think is very interesting. This is their map for the chances of each candidate winning each state. So you can see here, Biden has pretty large circles in most states. So you can see by the color coding here. Let me just scroll down. Okay, so as you can see, these dark blue colors for Biden, there are a lot of them. Most of the Northeast is basically dark blue, as well as the West. And for Donald Trump, he also has many safe states in the Midwest, as well as the South. And then, so I think what's interesting is that the state of Michigan isn't even a likely state. It is a very likely state. This projection puts Michigan right there. The state was won by Donald Trump in 2016, so I think it's pretty surprising to see Michigan in the very likely column for Joe Biden with an 85 to 99% chance of victory for the vice president. And then in the states of Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, these are also the other two states that Trump won by less than 1% in the Rust Belt in 2016, and it gives Joe Biden a 65 to 85% chance of winning these states. So Biden has an over 65% chance of just winning these three states, and these three states would win Joe Biden the election. Also, interestingly, Florida is also in the likely column for Joe Biden. The state went to Donald Trump by over 1% in 2016, and considering how close Florida normally is, 1.2% is a pretty good margin for the president. And Minnesota, a very likely state, however, only won by 1.5% by Hillary Clinton in 2016, as well as other swing states like Nevada, very likely. And New Hampshire is put in the likely column. Now, it's surprising to see that the only two real swing states that Donald Trump has in his likely column are the states of Texas and Iowa. Iowa, I think, could go to Joe Biden. It went to Barack Obama twice, I believe. And Texas, a state that has gone to the Republican Party by pretty large margins. Trump won this state by 9% in 2016, and the state of Texas has gone to a Republican since 1980. So it's pretty surprising to see that such a red state is only in the likely column for Donald Trump, as along with the state of Iowa. And then it's also surprising to see that some pretty safe Republican states, South Carolina, Mississippi, Louisiana, Missouri, these are all only very likely states. These aren't even safe states for Donald Trump. And, that just goes to show, how Trump's lead, that he once had in this election is now basically completely gone. And so I just want to talk about these four states that are categorized as uncertain, these being the states of Arizona, Ohio, North Carolina, and Georgia. Basically, if you're uncertain, either candidate has either a 50 to 65% chance of winning. So in the state of Arizona, in my election predictions, I have projected the state of Arizona to go to Joe Biden, mainly because he leads by over 4 points in the state, considering the fact that the state went to Donald Trump in 2016 by around 3%. I think Arizona is very likely to flip. Honestly, I think it's more likely to flip than the state of Wisconsin, because Arizona is just becoming more and more blue, along with the states of Ohio, North Carolina, and Georgia. So North Carolina and Georgia, these states are also becoming more and more blue. And I think if another Republican president were in office, I think these would be likely or very likely Republican states. However, because of Trump's unpopularity and Biden's popularity in the South, I think that these states are, more likely to go to Biden than to go to Trump. Biden also leads in polling in these states as well, including the state of Ohio. I think Ohio is the real true toss-up in this election. Biden does lead in the polls. However, Trump won this state by over 8% in 2016. And, the state did also go to Barack Obama twice. So, I think I could see Ohio going either way. However, North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona, I think Biden has a larger chance of winning. Now, this is the popular vote, each day. And then, basically, this is what they predict the popular vote is going to be. Currently, they predict that Joe Biden will win 54% of the popular vote, with Trump winning 45.6%, giving Biden a 9% margin. If this were to occur, this would be, a pretty shocking victory for the vice president. As, 9%, that is pretty big for a presidential election. They haven't seen anything like this in a couple of decades. And, Trump didn't even win the popular vote in 2016. So Biden winning by, 9%, that's pretty surprising to see. So, yeah, that is it. I will, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like as well as subscribing. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video.